The massive screen in the command center showed a single dot moving slowly through space. Admiral Zexathara looked at it with her 4 yellow eyes and made a sound that other aliens knew was laughter. Her purple skin changed color slightly, showing her amusement to everyone in the room. "This is what the humans send to fight us?" she asked, her voice carrying across the bridge of her flagship. "One slow ship?" Around her, other alien commanders joined the meeting through hologram projectors. Commander Krill appeared first, his insect-like body clicking as he moved. His 6 arms waved in what his species called humor. Next came the floating crystal form of Mind Unit 7 from the Prism Collective, glowing with soft blue light. "The human vessel moves like a sick whale," buzzed Commander Krill. His translator made his voice sound mechanical, but everyone could hear his amusement. "My scouts could fly circles around it for hours." Mind Unit 7's crystal body pulsed, with different colors as it spoke. "Our calculations show the human ship has inferior speed by a factor of 12. Its weapons appear to be primitive kinetic systems. No energy signatures detected." Admiral Zexathara pulled up more data on her screens. The human ship was called the UNS Endurance. It was huge, bigger than most of their battleships, but it moved through space like it was swimming through thick mud. Her sensors showed it had thick armor plating that looked old and simple. "Look at this design," she said, pointing at the image. "No elegant curves like our ships, no advanced energy fields. It looks like they welded metal plates together and called it a warship." The other commanders made various sounds of agreement. In the past year, they had fought human ships before, but those had been smaller vessels, fast attack ships and destroyers that used hit-and-run tactics. This was the first time humans had sent a capital ship to face them directly. "Perhaps they finally realized they need bigger ships," suggested Commander Krill. "But they still build them wrong. Speed is life in space combat. This thing will be destroyed before it can fire a single shot." The Veltar hegemony, the insectoid swarm, and the Prism Collective had formed an alliance 6 months ago. Their goal was simple: push the humans back from the outer systems and claim the valuable mining worlds for themselves. So far, the war had been easy. Human ships were fast but small. They could hurt you if you weren't careful, but they always ran away when the fighting got serious. Admiral Zexathara had been chosen to lead this battle because she had destroyed more human ships than any other commander. She knew their tactics. Humans liked to attack quickly and then escape before the aliens could respond. They were like small fish that nibbled at larger predators. "The human ship will reach firing range in 6 hours, reported her tactical officer. "Our combined fleet has 47 ships, fast cruisers, heavy destroyers, and energy platforms. The humans have sent 1 slow battleship." Zexthara's skin changed to a confident red color. "Signal all ships. We will attack in 3 waves. First wave will test their defenses. Second wave will damage their engines. Third wave will finish them." She paused and looked at the holographic commanders. "We will make this quick and decisive. Let the galaxy see what happens when humans try to fight a real fleet." Commander Krill's mandibles clicked rapidly. "My ships are fastest. We will lead the first attack. Swarm tactics. Hit them from all sides." Mind Unit 7 glowed brighter. "Our energy weapons will target their power systems. Without power, their weapons cannot function." What none of them knew was that Captain Elena Vasquez was listening to everything they said. The UNS Endurance had very good listening equipment. The aliens used old encryption that human computers could break easily. She sat in her command chair, calm and quiet while her crew prepared for battle. "Captain," said her communication officer, "the alien commanders are still talking. They think we can't hear them." "Let them talk," Elena replied. "Record everything. Intelligence will want to study their tactics later." She looked around her bridge. Her crew was young, but well-trained. Most of them had never been in a real space battle before. "How are our main systems?" "All green, Captain," reported her engineering officer. "The kinetic launch system is charged and ready. Gravitational field generators are online, inertial dampeners at full power." Elena nodded. The Endurance was not like other human ships. While most of their fleet used speed and clever tactics, this ship was built for something different. It was built to take hits and give back much harder ones. Navigation, maintain current course and speed, she ordered. Let them think we're just a slow, dumb target. The aliens continued their planning. They discussed which ships would attack, first how they would coordinate their weapons, and how quickly they could destroy the human vessel. Admiral Zexithara was particularly pleased with her strategy. The humans probably expect us to be cautious, she told her officers. They think their reputation for clever tactics will make us afraid. But this time they sent the wrong ship for clever tactics. This time they sent a big, slow target. Her tactical display showed the Endurance still moving toward them at the same steady pace. It hadn't changed course or speed since entering the system. It hadn't tried to hide behind asteroids or use any of the tricks human ships usually employed. Maybe they have given up, suggested one of her junior officers. Maybe they know they cannot win and are just going through the motions. Zexithara made her laughing sound again. Or maybe they are finally being honest about their capabilities. No more tricks, no more running away. Just one ship against our entire fleet. The countdown continued. 6 hours became 5, then 4. The alien ships moved into attack formation. Fast cruisers spread out in attack wings. Heavy ships took positions for long-range bombardment. Support vessels prepared to disable the human ship's engines. Commander Krill's swarm ships were small and very fast. They could accelerate quickly and change direction almost instantly. His plan was to surround the human ship and attack from all angles at once. Even if the humans had good weapons, they couldn't shoot in all directions at the same time. Mind Unit 7's crystal ships were different. They used pure energy weapons that could punch through most armor. The crystals could also link together to create more powerful attacks. Their plan was to overload the human ship's power systems. Admiral Zexithara's heavy cruisers would provide the killing blow. Once the other ships had weakened the human vessel, her big guns would finish it off. All commanders, final check, she broadcast. Is everyone ready to show these humans how real civilizations fight wars? The responses came back positive. 47 alien ships against 1 human battleship. The odds were so heavily in their favor that some commanders worried the battle would be over too quickly to be satisfying. On the Endurance, Captain Elena Vasquez checked her chronometer. 3 hours until the aliens would be in range. She looked at her crew one more time. They were ready. More ready than the aliens could possibly imagine. All stations, prepare for combat, she announced calmly. Today we show the galaxy what happens when someone underestimates human engineering. The alien fleet moved into position like a pack of hunters surrounding wounded prey. Admiral Zexithara watched her tactical display with satisfaction. Her ships were fast and deadly, each one a masterpiece of advanced technology. Energy shields that could deflect most weapons, faster than light engines that let them dance around slower enemies, and weapons that fired concentrated beams of pure destruction. Human ship is maintaining course and speed, reported her sensor officer. No, change in energy output, no weapons charging signatures detected. Zexithara nodded. The humans were either very confident or very stupid. She suspected the latter. Their ship looked like something built in a scrapyard. Thick metal plates welded together without any style or grace. No flowing lines like proper starships. No elegant energy fields protecting it. Their armor appears to be simple steel alloy, her science officer reported. Very thick, but primitive. Our energy weapons should cut through it easily. What Admiral Zexithara couldn't see was the truth about human engineering. While alien civilizations had spent thousands of years perfecting energy weapons and speed, humans had taken a completely different path. They had spent their time learning about force, mass, and momentum. Inside the Endurance, Lieutenant Commander Chen stood at the weapons control station. Around him, displays showed systems that would have confused any alien engineer. Where other species built weapons that fired energy, humans had built something much simpler and much more terrifying. Kinetic launch system status? Asked Captain Vasquez. All tubes loaded and ready, Captain, Chen replied. We have 60 rounds of depleted uranium core projectiles. Each one weighs 3 tons. Magnetic acceleration system can push them to 15% of light speed. Chen's station didn't look impressive. No glowing energy conduits or floating holographic displays like alien ships used, just solid metal controls and simple readouts. But the weapons those controls operated were based on physics that never changed and never failed. Gravitational field generators are online, reported the engineering officer. We can create localized gravity wells to alter projectile trajectories. The aliens won't be able to predict our targeting solutions. Captain Vasquez nodded. Trunts had been designed by people who understood that the most advanced technology wasn't always the most effective technology. Sometimes the best solution was the simplest one, scaled up to incredible proportions. The ship's engines were another example of human thinking. While alien ships used exotic matter and energy fields to achieve high speeds, the Endurance used brute force. Massive fusion reactors that could power a small city drove equally massive thrusters. The ship couldn't accelerate quickly, but once it got moving, nothing could stop it. Inertial dampening field at maximum, called out another officer. We can absorb impact forces up to 400 gravities without affecting crew performance. This was the secret the aliens didn't understand. The Endurance wasn't built to be fast, it was built to be unstoppable. Every system on the ship was designed for one purpose: to deliver devastating attacks while surviving anything the enemy could throw back. Commander Krill's swarm ships began their approach. Dozens of small, fast vessels accelerated toward the human battleship. Each ship was barely larger than a fighter, but together they could overwhelm almost any target. They moved in complex patterns, never flying straight for more than a few seconds. Look at them, Krill buzzed to his pilots over the communication channel. They're not even trying to evade. They just keep flying straight like a cargo hauler. His ships danced around the Endurance's approach vector. Some flew high, others low. Some attacked from the sides. The swarm tactic had never failed against larger ships. Big vessels couldn't track so many small, fast targets at once. Mind Unit 7's crystal ships took different positions. They formed geometric patterns that allowed them to link their energy outputs. When connected, a dozen crystal ships could fire a beam powerful enough to crack a moon. They had destroyed human destroyers with single shots before. Human vessel shows no response to our positioning, Mind Unit 7 reported. They appear to be unaware of the tactical situation. But on the Endurance's bridge, Captain Vasquez watched everything. Her ship's sensors were not the most advanced in the galaxy, but they were very good at tracking objects in space. Every alien ship was marked on her tactical display. Her computers calculated their speeds, courses, and probable attack patterns. They're doing exactly what we expected, she told her crew. Swarm ships trying to surround us. Crystal ships forming, attack formations. Heavy cruisers staying back for the killing shot. Her tactical officer nodded. All alien vessels are following standard doctrine. No surprises. This was another advantage humans had learned to use. Aliens had been fighting the same way for thousands of years. They had perfected their tactics through countless battles against each other. But they had never fought humans before, not really. A few skirmishes with small ships didn't prepare them for human capital ship warfare. Range to closest targets? Vasquez asked. Swarm ships will be in firing range in 40 minutes, her weapons officer replied. Crystal ships in 50 minutes. Heavy cruisers are staying at maximum range. Vasquez smiled slightly. The aliens were being cautious with their expensive ships while sending the cheap ones in first. It was smart tactics against a normal enemy. Against the Endurance, it was exactly the wrong choice. The alien commanders continued their approach, confident in their superiority. Admiral Zexathera's heavy cruisers had energy shields that could stop most weapons. Commander Krill's swarm ships were too fast and small to hit reliably. Mind Unit 7's crystal ships could destroy anything with their combined firepower. What none of them understood was that human weapons didn't work like energy beams or plasma bolts. Human kinetic weapons didn't care about energy shields. They didn't need to be aimed at small, fast targets when they could predict exactly where those targets would be. And they hit with so much force that size and armor meant nothing. 30 minutes to first contact, reported the Endurance's sensor officer. Around the galaxy, other battles were being fought between humans and aliens, Most of those battles involved small human ships using hit-and-run tactics, fast attacks followed by quick retreats. The aliens had learned to expect this pattern. They thought all human ships fought the same way. The Endurance was different. It had been built for a different kind of battle. Not hit and run, but stand and deliver. It was designed to take the best shot the enemy could give, and then hit back 10 times harder. All stations report ready for combat, the communication officer announced. Captain Vasquez looked around her bridge one more time. Her crew was calm and focused. They knew what their ship could do. They had trained for this moment for months. Now it was time to show the galaxy that there was more than one way to fight a war. Signal all human ships in the system, she ordered. Tell them to maintain safe distance. This is going to be over quickly. The alien fleet continued its approach, confident and eager. 47 ships against 1. Advanced technology against primitive weapons. Speed and grace against slow, clumsy force. In 29 minutes, they would learn which approach was better. The moment arrived with no fanfare, no dramatic music, no warning sirens. Commander Krill's swarm ships streaked toward the Endurance in perfect formation, their small hulls glinting in the light of the distant star. They moved like a school of fish, weaving and dancing through space in patterns designed to confuse enemy targeting systems. All swarm units begin attack run. Krill buzzed into his communicator. His own ship led the formation, its weapons already, charging. Behind him, 36 other vessels matched his movements exactly. Admiral Zexthera watched from her command ship, staying safely at long range. Her sensors showed the swarm ships accelerating to attack speed. In her experience, this tactic had never failed against large vessels. Big ships were too slow to track small, fast targets effectively. Swarm ships are at optimal attack speed, her tactical officer reported. Human vessel maintains course and speed. No evasive action detected. Zexthera's skin showed pleased colors. The humans were not even trying to defend themselves. Perhaps they had finally realized how outmatched they were. Prepare to record this battle, she ordered. The galaxy will want to see how quickly advanced tactics can defeat primitive human engineering. On the Endurance, Captain Vasquez sat calmly in her command chair. Her tactical display showed every alien ship, their speeds, courses, and projected positions. Her ship's computers had been calculating firing solutions for the past 10 minutes. Range. To lead swarm ships? She asked quietly. 15,000 kilometers in closing, her weapons officer replied. They'll be in their effective range in 30 seconds. Lieutenant Commander Chen's hands moved across his weapons control panel. The magnetic acceleration system hummed with barely contained power. In the launch tubes, 3-ton projectiles of depleted uranium waited, each one held in place by powerful magnetic fields. Firing solution confirmed, Chen reported. Target is the lead swarm ship. Predicted impact point calculated based on current trajectory. Captain Vasquez looked at her chronometer. The alien ships were flying in tight formation, each one following the path of the ship in front of it. It was beautiful flying, the kind of coordination that took years to perfect. It was also exactly what human tactical computers had been designed to exploit. All alien vessels are maintaining predictable flight patterns, her tactical officer confirmed. Computer models show 97% accuracy for kinetic intercept. The swarm ships came closer, 10,000 kilometers, 8,000, 5,000. Commander Krill's sensors showed no response from the human ship. No weapons charging, no defensive systems activating, no attempt to change course. Human ship appears to be disabled, Krill reported to Admiral Zexthera. No energy. Signatures detected. They may have surrendered. Zexthera made her species sound of satisfaction. Continue the attack. If they have surrendered, we will accept it after they are dead. 3,000 kilometers. 2,000. The swarm ships were now close enough to see the Endurance's hull. With visual sensors, it looked even more primitive up close. Thick metal plates, simple welded joints, no elegant design features. 1,000 kilometers. Krill's weapons locked onto the human ship's bridge section. He would destroy their command center first, then work his way down to the engines. It would be quick and efficient. That was when Captain Vasquez spoke one quiet word. Fire. Lieutenant Commander Chen pressed a single button. The first kinetic projectile launched from the Endurance with no visible flash, no energy beam, no warning that alien sensors could detect. It was simply 3 tons of depleted uranium accelerated to 15% of light speed by magnetic forces that could have powered a city. The projectile crossed the distance between ships in less than a heartbeat. Commander Krill's sensors detected it only in the final microsecond before impact, far too late to react. The depleted uranium slug hit Krill's ship at the front of his formation. The impact released energy equal to a small nuclear weapon. Krill's ship didn't just explode, it vaporized. The entire vessel was converted to plasma in an instant, creating an expanding ball of superheated gas and debris. The ships flying directly behind Krill had no time to change course. They flew straight into the debris cloud at full speed. Metal, fragments moving at thousands of kilometers per hour, tore through their hulls like bullets through paper. 5 more swarm ships died in the first second after impact. The shockwave from the explosion reached the rest of the formation. Ships that had been flying in perfect formation suddenly found themselves tumbling through space, their navigation systems overwhelmed by the electromagnetic pulse from the vaporized vessels. What just happened? Admiral Zexathara demanded, staring at her tactical display. 7 ships had simply vanished from her screens. Report! Her sensor officer's voice shook with confusion. Unknown energy release from the target area. Multiple ships destroyed. No weapon signature detected. But there had been a weapon. The humans had just used the oldest weapon in the universe, throwing rocks. They had simply thrown a very big rock very, very fast. Mind Unit 7's crystal form pulsed with alarm colors. Our sensors detected no energy discharge from the human vessel. How did they destroy 7 ships without firing energy weapons? The surviving swarm ships scattered, their perfect formation broken. Some tried to continue the attack, others began evasive maneuvers. All of them were confused and frightened. Captain Vasquez watched the alien response with professional interest. Target the ships trying to escape, she ordered. Show them that speed doesn't matter when you can predict where they're going. Chen's fingers moved across his controls again. The Endurance's computers had already calculated new firing solutions. The magnetic acceleration system recharged and prepared another projectile. Second target acquired, Chen reported. Swarm ship attempting to flee at maximum acceleration. The alien pilot was good. He had broken away from the formation and was flying an evasive pattern, changing course every few seconds. In a normal space battle, he would have been almost impossible to hit. But the Endurance's computers didn't aim where the ship was. They aimed where the ship would be, taking into account its speed, acceleration, and the pilot's evasive pattern. The targeting system had analyzed thousands of alien ship movements and learned to predict their behavior. Fire, Vasquez ordered, again. The second projectile launched. This time, some of the alien sensors detected it just before impact. Warning signals flashed across alien bridges as their computers tried to understand what they were seeing. The projectile caught the fleeing swarm ship in mid-turn. The 3-ton slug punched through the ship's hull, continued through the engine compartment, and exited the other side. The ship came apart like a toy hit by a hammer. Admiral Zexathara's tactical display now showed 9 ships destroyed. Her remaining swarm vessels were in complete disarray, flying random evasive patterns that made coordinated attack impossible. How are they doing this? She demanded. Energy weapons cannot fire without visible signatures. Plasma cannons create heat blooms. Laser systems generate electromagnetic radiation. What kind of weapon produces no detectable energy release? Her science officer worked frantically at his station. Admiral, I'm detecting small masses moving at extremely high velocity. The humans appear to be using kinetic projectiles. Zexathara's skin turned pale. Kinetic weapons were considered primitive, something used by civilizations that hadn't discovered energy manipulation. No advanced species used kinetic weapons because they were slow, inaccurate, and easy to avoid. Except these. Kinetic weapons weren't slow or inaccurate. They were faster than most energy beams and more accurate than anything the aliens had ever seen. All ships, evasive action, she broadcast. The humans are using advanced kinetic systems. Do not fly in predictable patterns. But it was too late. The Endurance fired again, and again, Each shot was perfectly calculated, each impact devastating. The human ship didn't need to fire rapidly because every shot found its target. In less than 5 minutes, Commander Krill's entire swarm was gone. 37 ships reduced to expanding clouds of debris and plasma. The aliens' fastest, most maneuverable vessels had been destroyed by a ship they thought was too slow to be dangerous. Captain Vasquez looked at her tactical display. The remaining alien ships were pulling back, their confident attack formation broken. The crystal ships and heavy cruisers were still out there, but they had seen what happened to the swarm. "Signal the remaining alien vessels," she ordered. "Tell them they have one chance to surrender. After that, we continue firing." The first impact had fallen. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the oldest solutions were still the best ones. The silence that followed the destruction of the swarm ships was more terrifying than any battle cry. Admiral Zexathera stared at her tactical display, watching the debris clouds where 37 ships had been just moments before. Her 4 eyes couldn't quite process what had happened. "Impossible," she whispered. "Kinetic weapons cannot be that accurate, cannot be that fast, cannot be that devastating." Her science officer was running calculations frantically. "Admiral, the projectiles are moving at approximately 15% of light speed. The kinetic energy of each impact is equivalent to a tactical nuclear weapon." Mind Unit 7's crystal form flickered with colors that showed deep concern. "Our energy shields are designed to deflect energy-based attacks. They provide no protection against solid matter moving at such velocities." The terrible truth was beginning to sink in. For thousands of years, galactic civilizations had evolved their warfare around energy weapons. Lasers, plasma cannons, particle beams, force fields. All of their defensive systems, all of their tactics, all of their ship designs were based on fighting enemies who used similar technology. Humans had taken a completely different path. All remaining ships, reform attack formation, Admiral Zexathera, ordered, trying to maintain control of the situation. "We still outnumber them. Coordinate your attacks. Don't give them time to target individual ships." But her commanders were no longer eager to attack. The crystal ships hung back, their pilots calculating new firing solutions. The heavy cruisers maintained maximum range, their crews suddenly very aware of their own mortality. Captain Vasquez watched the alien response with calm interest. "They're regrouping," she observed. "Learning from their mistakes, that's good. It means they're not completely stupid." Her tactical officer nodded. "Crystal ships are forming a linked formation. Energy readings suggest they're preparing for a combined attack. Heavy cruisers are moving to support positions." Lieutenant Commander Chen checked his weapons status. 47 rounds remaining, Captain. Magnetic acceleration system is operating at peak efficiency. We can maintain this. Rate of fire indefinitely. The Endurance had been designed for exactly this kind of battle. Extended combat against multiple enemies. While other human ships relied on speed and clever tactics, this ship was built to stand its ground and trade shots with anyone foolish enough to challenge it. Mind Unit 7 began the next phase of the attack. The crystal ships moved into a complex geometric pattern, their hulls beginning to glow with accumulated energy. When they linked their power systems, they could create a beam capable of cutting through a planet's crust. "Crystalline formation is charging weapons," reported the Endurance's sensor officer. "Energy buildup detected. Estimated firing time, 90 seconds. Captain Vasquez nodded. 90 seconds was plenty of time. "Mr. Chen, target the central crystal ship. That should be their primary control node." Chen's fingers danced across his controls. The targeting computer analyzed the crystal formation, identifying the ship that was coordinating the others. It was positioned in the exact center of the geometric pattern, surrounded by protective vessels. "Target acquired," Chen reported. "The surrounding ships will make targeting difficult. They're using overlapping defensive positions." "Show them why defensive positions don't work against kinetic weapons," Vasquez ordered. The Endurance fired again. This time the aliens were ready. Their sensors tracked the projectile as it left the human ship, and warning alarms sounded across the crystal formation. "Incoming kinetic projectile," Mind Unit 7 broadcast. "All ships, evasive action." The crystal ships tried to scatter. but they were locked in their energy-linking formation. Breaking the pattern would mean losing their combined firepower. They had to choose between defense and offense. Mind Unit 7 chose offense. The crystal ships maintained their formation and continued charging their weapons. The central ship prepared to take the hit while the others completed their attack sequence. The 3-ton uranium slug punched through the central crystal ship like it was made of glass. The ship's exotic matter hull, designed to channel and focus energy, shattered on impact. Crystalline fragments exploded outward at high velocity, striking the surrounding ships. The energy that had been building up in the formation had nowhere to go. Without the central control node, the power feedback tore through the linked ships like electricity through water. One by one, the crystal vessels overloaded and exploded. 12 ships destroyed, reported the tactical officer. Crystal formation eliminated. Admiral Zexathara watched her elite crystal ships die and felt something she hadn't experienced in decades of warfare. Fear. Not just concern for the battle, but genuine terror at facing an enemy she didn't understand. How? She demanded. How are they targeting so accurately? How are they penetrating our defenses so easily? Her tactical officer had been studying the human attacks. Admiral, they're not using traditional targeting methods. Their projectiles follow ballistic trajectories that account for our evasive maneuvers. They're predicting where we'll be, not where we are. This was the key insight that the aliens had missed. Their advanced technology allowed them to react quickly to threats, but it also made their reactions predictable. Human computers had studied alien tactics for months, learning to anticipate how alien pilots would respond in different situations. The Endurance fired again. This time the target was one of Admiral Zexathara's heavy cruisers. The ship's captain saw the projectile coming and tried to evade, but the human targeting computer had already calculated his likely escape route. The kinetic slug caught the cruiser as it tried to turn away. The impact point was precisely calculated to strike the ship's main power coupling. The 3-ton projectile punched through the hull, severed the power conduits, and continued through the ship's engine compartment. The heavy cruiser died without firing a shot. Its massive energy shields, designed to stop the most powerful weapons in the galaxy, had been useless against a simple chunk of metal moving very fast. "Admiral," her communication officer called out. "The other fleet commanders are requesting permission to withdraw. They're saying this is a trap, that the humans have some kind of super weapon." Zexathara looked at her tactical display. She had started this battle with 47 ships. Now she had fewer than 20, and the human ship hadn't even been damaged. Her forces were scattered, demoralized, and completely outmatched. But the worst part was the realization that this wasn't advanced technology at all. The humans were using the simplest possible weapons, rocks thrown very hard. It was like being defeated by someone using a slingshot. "All ships, maintain formation," she ordered, though her voice lacked its earlier confidence. "We can still overwhelm them with numbers." Captain Vasquez heard the alien communications and shook her head slightly. "They still don't understand," she said to her crew. "They think this is about numbers. They think if they just throw enough ships at us, some will get through." Her weapons officer looked up from his console. "Should we try to contact them again? Offer surrender terms?" Vasquez considered this. The aliens had started this fight. They had come to human space with the intention of driving humanity out of the outer systems. They had mocked human engineering and dismissed human capabilities, but they were learning now. Each impact taught them that their assumptions about warfare were wrong. Each destroyed ship showed them that technological advancement didn't always mean better weapons. One more demonstration, she decided. Target their flagship, show them what happens to leaders who underestimate humans. The Endurance's targeting computer locked onto Admiral Zexathara's command ship. It was the largest vessel in the alien fleet, heavily armored and bristling with weapons. It was also completely helpless against kinetic weapons. The magnetic acceleration system charged for the next shot. In the launch tube, another 3-ton slug of depleted uranium waited to teach the galaxy a lesson about the dangers of underestimating human ingenuity. Admiral Zexathara watched her sensors and realized that her flagship was being targeted. For the first time in her military career, She understood what it felt like to be completely outmatched by an enemy she had thought was inferior. The human ship was about to fire again, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Admiral Zexathara watched the targeting indicators lock onto her flagship and made the hardest decision of her military career. Her pride as a warrior demanded that she fight to the end. Her duty as a commander required her to save the lives of her remaining crews. "All ships cease fire and withdraw to safe distance," she broadcast on all frequencies. "I repeat, all ships stand down immediately." The order shocked her remaining commanders. In 300 years of galactic warfare, the Veltar hegemony had never surrendered a battle. Their military doctrine had no provisions for retreat in the face of superior firepower. But then, they had never faced anything like the human battleship. Captain Vasquez heard the surrender order through her communication system. She held up her hand to stop Lieutenant Commander Chen from firing. "Hold fire," she ordered. "Let's see if they mean it." On her tactical display, the remaining alien ships were indeed pulling back. They moved slowly, broadcasting their retreat on multiple frequencies to make sure the humans understood their intentions. Their weapon systems powered down, and their shields shifted to defensive configurations. "Incoming transmission from the alien flagship," her communication officer reported. "They're requesting permission to speak with our commanding officer." Vasquez nodded. "Put them through." Admiral Zexathara's image appeared on the main screen. Her purple skin had turned pale, and her 4 eyes showed a mixture of fear and grudging respect. When she spoke, her voice was carefully controlled. "Captain of the human vessel," she said formally. "I am Admiral Zexathara of the Veltar hegemony. I request terms for the withdrawal of my remaining forces." Captain Vasquez studied the alien commander for a moment. She saw a professional soldier who had been completely outmatched, but was trying to maintain her dignity in defeat. It was something Vasquez could respect. "Admiral," she replied evenly, "you attacked human territory with the intention of driving us from our rightful systems. You brought 47 ships against 1. You mocked our technology and dismissed our capabilities." She paused. "Why should I allow any of your ships to leave?" Zexathara's skin flushed darker, but she maintained her composure. "Because, Captain, today you have proven that humanity deserves respect. Our intelligence was wrong. Our assumptions were incorrect. Our tactics were inadequate." She straightened in her command chair. "You have won this battle decisively, destroying. The rest of my fleet would serve no military purpose." It was a good answer, and both commanders knew it. Vasquez looked around her bridge at her crew. They had performed perfectly under pressure, and their weapon systems were still fully operational. They could destroy every remaining alien ship if she gave the order. But that wasn't why the Endurance had been built. "Here are my terms," Vasquez said. "Your ships will withdraw immediately from all human-claimed systems. You will broadcast a full report of this engagement to all allied alien forces. You will make it clear that human space is defended by weapons your current technology cannot counter." Admiral Zexathara nodded slowly. "Understood. We will comply with these terms." "Furthermore," Vasquez continued, "if alien forces enter human space again with hostile intent, we will not offer surrender." Terms. "The next encounter will end with the complete destruction of any attacking fleet." The alien admiral's skin turned even paler. She had just witnessed the destruction of more than half her fleet by a single human ship. The thought of facing multiple human vessels with similar capabilities was terrifying. "I will ensure that this message reaches the highest levels of all allied governments," Zexathara promised. "The galaxy will know that humanity is not to be underestimated." Captain Vasquez allowed herself a small smile. "See that they do, Admiral. Earth has many more ships like this one. We simply prefer not to use them unless necessary." This was partly true. The Endurance was the first of a new class of human battleships, but 3 more were already under construction. If this demonstration proved effective, humanity would have a powerful deterrent against future alien aggression. "Permission to withdraw?" Admiral Zexathara asked formally. "Granted," Vasquez replied. "Safe travels, Admiral. I hope we don't meet again under these circumstances." The alien ships began their retreat. They moved slowly and carefully, maintaining safe distances from each other and the human vessel. Their formation was nothing like the confident attack pattern they had used earlier. As the alien fleet withdrew, messages began traveling across the galaxy. Long-range communication networks carried the news of the battle to alien homeworlds. The reports were almost impossible to believe. A single human ship had destroyed more than half of a combined alien fleet using primitive kinetic weapons. On the bridge of the Endurance, the crew began standing down from combat alert. Their first major battle was over, and they had won decisively without taking any damage. "Damage report?" Captain Vasquez asked, though she already knew the answer. "No damage to report, Captain," her engineering officer confirmed. "All systems operating normally. We used 13 kinetic projectiles, 47 remaining in the magazines." Lieutenant Commander Chen looked up from his weapons console. "Captain, that was the most one-sided battle I've ever seen. We could have destroyed their entire fleet without breaking a sweat." Vasquez nodded. "That was the point, Mr. Chen. Sometimes the best way to prevent a war is to show your enemies exactly what they're facing. Today we demonstrated that human engineering can be just as effective as alien technology, just in different ways." Her tactical officer was reviewing the battle data. "Captain, our kinetic weapons achieved a 96% hit rate. The targeting computers performed even better than expected. The aliens never adapted to our firing patterns." "They couldn't adapt," Vasquez explained. "Their entire military doctrine is based on energy weapons and high-speed maneuvers. They've never faced kinetic weapons with this level of accuracy and power. It would be like us trying to fight someone using weapons we'd never seen before." Across the galaxy, alien military leaders were having emergency meetings. The battle reports from the Kepler 442 system challenged everything they thought they knew about human capabilities. Intelligence agencies scrambled to reassess their estimates of human military strength. The crystal beings of the Prism Collective were particularly disturbed. Their energy-based technology, which they had considered the pinnacle of military science, had been completely useless against human kinetic weapons. They began urgent research into new defensive systems. The insectoid swarm was frantically redesigning their swarm tactics. Their speed and agility, which had always been their greatest advantages, meant nothing when the enemy could predict exactly where they would be. The Veltar hegemony started a complete review of their military doctrine. Admiral Zexathara's report made it clear that their traditional advantages in speed and energy weapons were not enough to defeat human engineering. But the most important change was in attitude. Before the battle, aliens had seen humans as an annoyance to be dealt with quickly. After the battle, they saw humans as a serious military power that demanded respect. Captain Vasquez received a priority message from Earth Command 2 hours after the battle ended. Fleet Admiral Chen, no relation to her weapons officer, appeared on her screen with a satisfied expression. "Outstanding work, Captain," the Admiral said. "Intelligence reports indicate that alien fleet movements throughout the galaxy have changed dramatically. They're pulling back from contested systems and avoiding human patrol routes." "Good to hear, Admiral," Vasquez replied. "The Endurance performed exactly as designed. I think our demonstration was effective." "More than effective," Admiral Chen confirmed. "The aliens are requesting diplomatic talks for the first time since the conflict began. They want to establish formal boundaries and rules of engagement. It seems they're no longer interested in testing human resolve." After the communication ended, Captain Vasquez walked to the observation deck. Through the transparent aluminum windows, she could see the debris field where the alien ships had died. It was a sobering reminder of the cost of underestimating an opponent. The Endurance had proven its point. Humanity didn't need the fastest ships or the most advanced energy weapons to defend itself. Sometimes the oldest solutions, applied with human ingenuity and determination, were still the best ones. The galaxy had learned to respect human engineering. And more importantly, they had learned not to mock what they didn't understand. The slow human battleship had taught them that speed wasn't everything, and that sometimes the most devastating weapon was the simplest one. In the days that followed, The story of the battle spread throughout civilized space. It became known as the Day the Rocks Fell, a reminder that technological advancement didn't always mean better weapons. Sometimes it just meant finding new ways to throw rocks very, very hard. And in human space, construction began on more ships like the Endurance. Because while diplomacy was preferable, it was always wise to speak softly and carry a very big kinetic weapon.